Hey guys, it's Nathan Space Wolf, and here's this theory of how the Age of Calamity plays in the overall storyline timeline. So we know Breath of the Wild takes place after, Calamity Ganon returns, and Link gets sent into 100-year sleep, which is kind of troubling for the world. This put Zelda at a disposition to stay in one location while Link is asleep for such a long time. He's just trapped in HWAOC Castle. This takes place in a timeline where Ganon doesn't fail, but doesn't succeed at the same time. Now, in other situations in Hyrule Warriors, this is taking place where Ganon is not defeated, but is alternated to a timeline that's in between two different, if things took a different turn than they did, Calamity Ganon actually being defeated and the world being saved 100 years before Link takes the nap. For such a long while, what if Link never took an L and everyone who was a champion survived? Basically, this now branches off into another timeline of its very own, where Zelda, Link, Impa, and the rest of the cast, such as the King, the 4 champions, are still alive. So in that sense, the Gorons still have their champion. The Rito still have their champion. The Gerudo also still have their champion. And one of the people that I love the most, Mipha, is still alive. So the Zoras have their champion. And since everyone's still alive in this timeline, that means that nothing in the future would be the same for the great Hylians and those of the Zora, Goron, Rito, and Gerudo. And in this alternate timeline, since everything is different, most likely Link would practically just gone on a whole new quest to save the world, but in a different way than usual, since they do defeat Ganon in this alternate timeline. Ganon is no longer a threat. Or at least Calamity Ganon is no longer a threat in this alternate timeline. Ganon himself, though, might still be around. The scene Tears of the Kingdom, that doesn't sound too far off from the truth. That could mean that Calamity Ganon, after being defeated so early, because of the alteration in time, Ganon could wake up like in Tears of the Kingdom way before than he was supposed to, which could put us at another disposition where now Link and the 4 champions plus Zelda have to fight Ganon and try to finish him off once and for all. They finished the Calamity, and they did get assistance from the future, from an alternate timeline where they're about to become part of that timeline. But yeah, that was the thing. So the whole theory is Ganon might wake up early and may not be as powerful as he would be in Tears of the Kingdom, because in Tears of the Kingdom, we're following the timeline where Link did go to sleep for 100 years. Where Zelda was trapped for 100 years trying to keep Calamity from coming out. Where all 4 champions are gone, and the new champions are now born. Now, this could mean that this could gain its own recognition in another version of Zelda where it's going to play something kind of like Tears of the Kingdom, but a lot more chill and relaxed. A lot more like, oh, we've gained great pride and strength since we fought Calamity Ganon and survived the war. Unlike our alternate selves who didn't survive. They could be a lot stronger. Each champion could have gained greater power. And since they do still have the Divine Beast, not being destroyed immediately or taken over, could set up a whole chain of events where they just knock out the competition. Like, I don't know how else to say it. But theory is that Zelda, Link, and all the champions, because they're alive in this timeline and don't die or get sent to sleep or trapped for 100 years trying to stop someone from taking over the world, their idea is, alright, this might be the same thing, but now we gotta deal with the actual Ganondorf, not Calamity Ganon, a force of nature that is just his rage appearing and manifesting. Now we gotta deal with the actual source of Ganondorf, which could put us in quite a pickle. Because to be honest, if this is the world where they survive, they might believe that, I'm not going to say that they're going to be too cocky about fighting Ganondorf like the actual game, But seeing that Ganondorf wouldn't be at his full potential and didn't take 100 years to regain all that power, as you see in Tears of the Kingdom's like trailer, it's just, yeah. I think that in Tears of the Kingdom, he saved up enough power when Calamity Ganon was out there terrorizing everybody, that every year that went by gave him more and more power. So in Tears of the Kingdom, since he's regained consciousness, he now has all that memory and pure strength to fight against our hero Link. And seeing that the Master Sword is destroyed in that timeline, or at least completely damaged, in a timeline where the sword isn't damaged and is still around, because if all the champions are around and Zelda's still around, and well, they got 4 different armies that work together. They got all those people who can help them make sure that the Master Sword never gets destroyed by the actual Ganon. And that Link and Zelda and all 4 of them would wipe out Ganon easier than they did with Calamity Ganon. I say easier because at this point, Ganon doesn't have 100 years under his belt to gain power and torment people. But now, Ganon has to fight a whole... He has to fight 4 different civilizations. One of them being his own. No, 5 civilizations. Goron, Hylian, Zora, Rito, and Garuda. And that, I tell you, will be one hell of a fight. Ganon would have to watch every single angle. Like, he would have to watch his back. He has an army, but now he no longer has the control over the divine beasts. He no longer has the upper hand when it comes to those blights. Ganon Blight. Blight Ganon. Blight Ganons? Yeah, anyway, what I was trying to say was, all the Blight Ganons are basically not going to be as strong as the champions now, because they've already gotten into a fight with all those Blights. So they're used to their fight patterns now. Yes, they did get assistance from the future 4 champions and the hero, but they are still champions and they are still skilled. And now, since they have gotten the chance to fight the Blights and survive, if Ganondorf decided to use powers such as the Blights and his army of goblins and such forth he would be okay for a good moment, but he's not going to really win. Oh wait, I almost forgot. There's the Sheikah. And what is it? The Yaga? I think it's Yaga. I feel so bad. The Yaga clan? Yeah, the Yaga clan and the Sheikah clan. They're also on the team of the 4 champions. So, given that there's ninjas who can sneak past things and have great powers and potential, besides the 4 champions and the main champion, the hero who may steal the darkness away, Link, the reincarnation of the goddess of Hylia, Zelda, it would be so crazy to see them all fight alongside each other as they take on the actual Ganondorf. Though I don't think he's gonna have enough in his arsenal to handle every last one of them. Now, if you remember, without the champions being alive, he stood a pretty great chance. I'm not gonna underestimate Ganondorf, because Ganondorf is powerful by himself. But remember, he was still trapped for hundreds and 800 years by the hero and the Zelda who originally put him down there in those caves. Now his power leaking out, creating Calamity Ganon, did a number of damage on its own, which, that is not really the greatest thing. That is the problem. He was trapped there for so long that as soon as he was able to reawaken, the first thing he does is destroy Link's sword. Now, with all the champions being there, if they did go down and find Ganon, all of them all together, instead of it just being Link and Zelda, then I don't believe that Link would lose his sword. Nor would Zelda and Link be completely separated. Because they got so many people watching their backs. Going on adventures, proving that they can make the world better. I could see a lot of increase in the domain right here. You know, the Goron domain. I can see a lot of increase in strength. I can see so much strategy increase in the land of the greatest person ever, Mayful. I can see her whole Zor domain just being better in her strategy. I can see an increase in intelligence, strength, and I can see a lot more technique being created by the retail. And for our fourth champion, the Gerudo, I can see a lot of defense being increased. Because, yeah, the Gerudo are strong as hell, but so is the Goron. But the Gerudo mostly uses defensive tactics and hits hard. On the Goron side, they are just heavy hitters. They don't block much because they can take very powerful hits. The Gerudos can take hits, but not as much as the Gorons, which is why the Gorons would be strength. Now, the reason why I gave Zordamain intelligence is because they build a lot of things. Also, I could have gave that to Zelda, since she's really into things that's like that. And again, I gave her intelligence because tactician. Yeah. But getting back on track, the theory is, if all the champions are alive, and so is Link and Zelda, Impa and the Sheikah plus the Yeager clan, all them together would most likely be possible to defeat the Ashra Union hidden underneath Hyrule Castle. Because that's what everything looks like it's becoming down to in Tears of the Kingdom. My theory is that they could easily have beat Ganondorf if all of them are alive in this timeline, if that ever came to be. Well, that's all I have to say about that. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.